Hello and welcome to this presentation on the requirements and guidance on arable flower-rich grass margins under farming with nature within the Sustainable Agriculture Programme. The aim of this action is to establish flower-rich grass margins on arable land. This creates habitat and foraging sites for invertebrates, including natural crop pest predators, wild pollinators and farmland birds. We are going to discuss the requirements, guidance and maintenance involved with arable flower-rich margins under the Farming with Nature scheme. Scheme requirements. This action must not be carried out on fields within an area designated as a special area of conservation, a special protection area, a Ramsar site, or an area of special scientific interest. It must not be carried out on Northern Ireland priority habitat and species areas or permanent grassland sensitive areas. A flower-rich grass margin 3 metres wide to 12 metres wide must be created along part or for an entire field boundary where the main field crop is cereal in line with normal husbandry practices. Requirements continued. The area allowed is a minimum of 0.1 hectares up to the maximum funding available per applicant. Establish a flower-rich grass margin using untreated seed from the Irish native flower and grass seed mix list. Fertilizers, organic and inorganic, lime and plant protection products, except for the spot treatment of noxious and invasive weeds, must not be applied. Requirements further continued. The margin must not be grazed or damaged. The margin must be established by the 30th of September of the same scheme year. Evidence of the seed mix used, including labels, invoices detailing the mix contents and quantity of seed supplied, must be retained. The margin must be retained for at least 5 years. A successful flower-rich margin of 3 to 12 metres will produce flowering plants during the spring and summer months and on into the early autumn. It will support populations of pest predators such as hoverflies, whose larvae feed on aphids and crop pollinators such as wild bees. This can help to control these pests on nearby crops and boost crop pollination. The general increase in insects attracted to these mixtures in turn provides food for birds and valuable foraging habitat for small mammals. These mammals can provide a food source for hunting raptors. Guidance Seed mix. The seed mix for this action is detailed in the accompanying guidance. The mix must include all 4 native fine grasses and at least 8 species of native wildflowers from the list. No individual wildflower species must make up more than 25% of the total wildflower seed weight. Aim to source Irish native wildflower species of local provenance, as they are more likely to germinate successfully, grow stronger, and have greater resilience to local weather extremes. You can choose to sow a seed mix containing more wildflower species than this action requires. Using an enhanced mix is likely to mean less frequent resowing as more flower species are retained for longer. It can also help to provide a more varied mix of flowers for beneficial insects. Your seed supplier can help you choose a seed mix that is the best match for your land and local conditions. Guidance Where to sow. It will be of great benefit to sow the seed mix on sites that receive plenty of sunlight to help plants establish, and on sites which are low in soil fertility, as grasses and weeds can dominate fertile areas and compete with the flowers. Sowing a few margins spaced across your farm will create a network of habitats for beneficial insects. Guidance How to sow the seed mix. Your seed supplier can advise you on an overall sowing rate for the seed mix you choose. The recommended minimum seed rate for flowers in the mix is 2 kilos per hectare. The seeds are likely to germinate if they are sown into a seedbed that is firm, consolidated, fine, level and weed-free. The seedbed must be warm and moist. Wildflowers can grow slowly, so try to sow by the end of August to avoid frost damage. You can either broadcast the seeds onto the surface of the seedbed to help germination, or shallow drill the seeds up to a depth of 1 centimeter, as small seeds usually struggle to germinate when sown deeper than 1 centimeter. If the soil is dry enough, rolling after you have sown the seeds can improve seed to soil contact, retain moisture, and reduce the risk of slug damage. Guidance on establishing flower-rich grass margins. During the first spring and summer after sowing, it is advisable to check the margin regularly to monitor germination. If the establishment has been poor, you may need to resow part of it or all of it. Your seed supplier can help you if you are unsure of how best to do this. Guidance Cutting the margin. Cutting the margin regularly during the first 12 months after sowing will help to control weeds and allow the sown plants to establish. You can do this whenever the weeds are just above the sown flowers and starting to shade them out. When cutting the margin, check for signs of nesting birds before you cut. Birds' nests and eggs are protected by the law, so if you see signs of nesting birds, delay cutting until the 1st of September. Remove the cut vegetation where possible to prevent smothering of flower species, limit weeds, and maintain low soil fertility, which supports a diverse flowering sward and it prevents grasses from becoming dominant. If it is impractical to do this, finely chop and spread cuttings as thinly as possible. Guidance: maintaining the established margins. The margin must be retained and managed for at least 5 years. Through Farming with Nature, you can apply for the management of arable flower-rich margins in the year after establishment to support retention and management. This involves some or all of the following. Cut in the spring, which is usually before the beginning of April, so that vegetation is short enough to allow flower species to grow without competition from dominant grasses. Cut and remove the summer growth between the 1st of September and the end of October. This will help reduce soil fertility, boost flower numbers in the subsequent years. If it is impractical to do this, finely chop and spread the cuttings as thinly as possible. Stagger the cutting so all the margins are not cut at the same time. This will help to provide a constant supply of flowers for invertebrates. Leave about 10% of the area within each margin uncut each year. This will help to provide a refuge for insects and other wildlife over the winter. More details, including specification, video materials, and guidance, are available to view on the DARE website. Thank you for listening to the Arable Flower Rich Grass Margins Requirements and Guidance.